This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking Sixers and the Bird Gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is a Philly Talk podcast live channel member stream. Yes, sir. We got 3 loyal to the soil channel members on the screen with us, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Starting with my guy to my, I guess my right. If I don't know,
It's a little confusing when you're on camera, right? What's good, everybody? It's Victory, man. Y'all see me in the chat. You see me on Twitter. Uh, Co-host of the East Meets West podcast now. How's it going on tonight, man? How we doing?
there it is. Go ahead, down right underneath me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Joey Z, I'm always in the chat. Go Birds.
That's what's up. And last but not least,
Eric Gallagher, Eagles fan from PA, living down here in North Carolina.
there we go. There we go. And like I said, if you ever want to be on the panel in this long, we always do about 45 minutes to an hour. All you got to do is check out the channel membership. It is actually pinned to the link, and, do what you got to do. But I appreciate all the support, whether you're a channel member or just a regular viewer. We about to get into some birds. Shout out to everybody in the chat already. Christopher, what's going on? Eagle Slayer up in here. Philadelphia Eagle fan Ethan said hashtag Minshew Mania. It's there. It's real, right? Jock Talk, A Rich, Eagles champ in the building. He said hurt season all day, all day. Shout out to my guy Eagles Talk from Delco, newest Eagles content creator. Definitely go check out his channel. He's brand new, but he keeps it 100. Keeps it 100. And that's all we can ask for. And listen, Texas Eagle, if you want the link, all you got to do, I dropped a community post about really 25 minutes ago. I'm all about the last minute stuff. Sorry. Normally we'll get better, more prepared stuff. But if you are a channel member, the link will be in the title to come on here, but it's only available in the community post for channel members. So go check that out. But yeah, listen. So the title starts Gardner Minshew or Joe Flacco. And we're going to get into that and a lot more. We also going to talk about week 1 against ATL because it's real. 12 days and the season starts. That's the first game. I guess it's the Bucks versus the Cowboys, but our game is going to be a little bit later, but the season upon us. So let's start with the hot topic and we'll go with Vic 3. How do you feel about the Minshew signing? And do you think he will be the second string quarterback? And when will that happen? He got to learn the playbook and the scheme, but go ahead and tell me your thoughts.
Well, we all know I've been on record in saying that Gardner Minshew is a guy. I mentioned that a while back. If I'm not mistaken, I even said for a 6th round pick. Yeah, I think that was the right move to make. Can he take out Flacco in the second spot? Most definitely. Will he at the moment? Remains to be seen because, right now we did sign him for, I believe it was $3 million. He is locked in for the year. Barring a trade, he is our number 2 guy. Can he be that man? Again, it all depends on if you trade him or not.
There you go. There you go. Eric G, as he takes a nice sip of that yak. Go ahead and tell us your opinion on the Gardner Minshew signing.
I'm loving it, honestly. Hell of a lot better than Mullins. And that gives us incredible depth for whatever may happen. Whether he takes over Flacco's spot, that, like Vic says, is yet to be seen. But after Flacco's performance last night, could be a while.
Yeah, I mean, Flacco did light it up.
Flacco's only on a 1-year contract, so we have our backup for next year as a second.
Yep.
That's really good in that transition before I get to you guys. Yeah, regardless of what the status is, even if Minshew doesn't come through and be listed as the second guy for a couple days or a couple weeks because of learning the playbook, you got to understand Flacco was a 1-year, bridge backup. And so the Eagles really love the backup. So Minshew, depending on what his value is, maybe we can work a deal out and or keep him in something to where he's available to be at least a backup next year and going forward. But go ahead, Joey Z.
Yeah, that's
Let me know your thoughts.
That's what I was gonna mention. I think he's on a 2-year contract, Minshew. So we'll have him next year if he doesn't back up Hurts directly this year. So I think it's a good move. And Flacco looked good last night. So we'll see what happens. But I like the move.
Who are you starting? If just say 3 weeks in, of course we don't see none of them because hopefully the first 3 weeks are some good weeks from Jalen Hurts. Do you think Minshew can jump him on the depth chart once he gets under the playbook, or do you think the Eagles are going to say for now, because we didn't see nothing from Flacco, didn't see nothing from Minshew, saying that Jalen Hurts is still doing what he needs to do? Do you think that he can leapfrog him on a depth chart?
It's possible. I wasn't too crazy what I seen from Minshew last year. He played pretty bad, but I like Flacco as the backup right now, just because he's a veteran, like a long vet. Played a lot of years in the NFL. So
there you go. Texas Eagle. Let me know your thoughts on the Minshew signing and him possibly leapfrogging Joe Flacco as that second guy this year.
Yeah, man. I like it. I like Minshew. I think he's a talented kid. He's got talent. I think he does come in and take Flacco's spot at some point. My issue is, are they going to keep 3? If they keep 3, then that means we're going to lose some depth somewhere. They're either going to end up just keeping 5 instead of 6 receivers. They're going to, cut some depth in the secondary or on the O-line. They're going to end up cutting somebody that actually deserves to be on this team if we keep 3 quarterbacks. So that's my issue right now. I do like it that I think that I never understood why a team would have 2 totally different quarterbacks. I think that Hurts and Minshew share a lot of the same tools. They're both athletic. They both have, they can both run the ball. They can both get out of the pocket. I think they both fit this offense. So I never understood why you would have Jalen Hurts type and then have a Flacco type who's totally different in a backup. So if Flacco has to come in, it totally changes the offense. On the other hand, if Minshew has to come in, God forbid anything happens to Jalen, if Minshew has to come in, not a lot changes as far as the way his game is compared to Hurts. But I like it.
Yeah. I would definitely agree that you got the more athletic guy in the stash. We're gonna call him Minshew Mania, whatever you want to call him. But when I really look at it right now, I think, Howie Roseman's still ruling the thing, and they always go about the money. And I do think it's going to take a lot to leapfrog Joe Flacco on some practices, just practices. I think Gardner Minshew being on the roster, he's going to transition to be that guy. But listen, here's the thing. How much can you learn from Flacco and Minshew in practice? And he has to be outdoing them by a lot to really get that spot, because Minshew's getting paid less than Flacco. Now, if an injury comes, I think then when it goes, okay, forget the depth chart, who's actually the best chance to win? But Nick Sirianni has an offense where he likes to get the ball out of his hands quick, and that still will fit into a Joe Flacco scenario. Nick Sirianni's a guy who doesn't like to run RPOs, but he's going to run RPOs for the simple fact that Jalen Hurts will be a deadly RPO runner because of the legs, because of the backs, and because of, the yak wide receivers we have. So
I think it may be a hot take at this point right now, but I think in the next week, I don't think Joe Flacco makes it. I understand he's making $4 million.
Like so 3.5.
So it's a $4 million hit. That's nothing. I think he's out of here. I think Minshew moves up to 2. I think they just keep 2. I think they just keep 2 quarterbacks. I can't see them keeping 3 quarterbacks. I really don't.
It's not that much of a hot take, especially what's going on with Minnesota. So yeah, Flacco could be moved.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They could move Flacco, and I just don't see them keeping 3 quarterbacks at the expense of having to cut depth somewhere else where we need it.
Well, yeah, and that's why I went. Vic was talking to me backstage a little bit, and he said about the whole Minnesota being interested in Joe Flacco, and of course, Harry Roseman's going to exhaust all options. And if there's a deal on a table where he's like, let's just rewind everything. We got Joe Flacco for $3.5 million. Now Gardner Minshew is getting paid pennies on a dollar, right? With that being said, do we really think there's a Flacco's veteranship is going to be the difference maker? So maybe if the Vikings, who we already fleeced for a first round pick for Sam Bradford, if they come around asking for like a third-ish, something like that, boom, we get that back. We got the cheaper quarterback. They take on the money, this, that, and the third. Maybe we get like $1.5 million of dead money. And so it could work out in that scenario. But again, it would ultimately be the fact that somebody's reaching out. And I was big on the Eagles only keeping 2 quarterbacks because of, offensive line and certain things that we need to make sure we have: skilled players, wide receivers, secondary. But if there's no trade involved, the money you got invested in Flacco and now the pick that is invested in Gardner Minshew, that makes me think that they might keep 3 going into the season and just play by ear as Vic's talking. And also an injury happens. Just say week 3 an injury happens. You got all this ammo. You got 2 quality backups. And again, Flacco as a starter, not quality, but I think he's a quality backup. Again, I can't name 10 backups better than him. And now you can't name 10 other ones because we got one of them on our squad already in Minshew. But what is your talk on that, Vic?
Well, I think it's a different situation. When we signed Flacco, it was a knee-jerk reaction because we didn't have a backup, honestly. So we needed someone. And Flacco at the time was the best guy to get. And you can see that, we overpaid for him. So now that we're in the position that we have Gardner Minshew for the money he's making, I'm looking at it now. It's time to move Flacco. That's what this next week's going to be. It's going to be them trying to find a team or a suitor that can take him off our hands. The dead money is the only issue. Hopefully we don't have to take a lot of it on. But again, we're in a contract that we're spending too much on. Whatever we can get from it, we'll get. I'm pretty sure we're not going to be picky with the draft picks.
Oh, I agree there. Eric, what's your take on possibly moving one of them, most likely as the rumors are swirling, Flacco to Minnesota? Well, what's your take on that?
With the better option probably being Minshew, I don't see a problem with it. Like everybody's talking about, that's money back. We're not losing much on it. I just can't see an issue. I mean, we got to keep the players in the positions where we have them now and not lose where we need it, depth wise. So
that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
It's not a big deal.
I got some audio crack. I'm going to go hop on my PC.
All right, cool.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Nah, he says he's going to hop on his PC.
So what I was going to say, Mike, you were just mentioning, what if we get some injuries and we've already let go of Flacco and there's no one, he's top 10 best backups out there. Here's what I think. If we get down to where we're at a third string quarterback, it don't matter anyway. We're not going to win.
Yeah.
So if it gets down to where where we've lost Hurts, God forbid, and we've lost Minshew, and we're trying to use a third guy, we're done. We're done, guy. It doesn't matter who it is anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, I agree. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I know the Nick Foles thing really plays big in our head because of having a backup, and he was the backup that won the ultimate prize for us. But you don't normally see that. I reference Oakland. They were super hot when Derek Carr was on fire. One of the best in the AFC. And he gets hurt, and things go south. They lose their first playoff game right away. It depends. Like I said, look at Dallas. If Dallas had a good backup, I mean, Andy Dalton is what you call the upper echelon of backups. But Dak Prescott went down, and Andy Dalton and the Cowboys couldn't get the NFC East. You know what I mean? So,
one quarterback better than Flacco, by the way.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well,
you want me to listen?
Well, hold
on.
When
you say 10, I got a list in front of me.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, Vic. How can you I honestly thought that Andy Dalton was better than Flacco, but let me just say this: Andy Dalton had a loaded Dallas Cowboys offense and couldn't really muster up much.
Would
That
Flacco been
kind
able
of
to do
hurt
the
him.
same? Would
I
he have
don't
been
know.
any better?
I
No,
mean,
Not
wait,
at all.
Flacco. Hold on. Andy Dalton won like 4 games. Flacco won 1 with the Jets. That's equivalent to 4 Dallas Cowboy
But
roster.
that just tells me Andy Dalton would have probably won more with the Jets, and Flock would have won less with the Cowboys. That's all that's telling me.
That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the Jets were the Jets. The Jets were
The Jets are always the Jets.
correct.
Hey, where is Mariota right now?
He's with the Raiders.
Oh yeah, Las Vegas. I keep telling him.
He just signed, I think. If I'm not mistaken. He just signed this offseason.
No, look. Here's my biggest thing. So go ahead. You said you're looking up the list. Go ahead and give me 10 backups that are better. And of course, you got to have multiple people. Multiple people agree. It can't just be like Andy. And I would kind of throw Andy Dalton better, but the fact that I thought Andy Dalton. When Andy Dalton came into the Cowboy scenario, right? I thought they were going to go back to when Dak was a rookie. Remember, they didn't put that much pressure on Dak to throw. They ran Ezekiel Elliott and they had Des Bryant and the boys, right? Then when Des Bryant went, they were trash. They got Amari Cooper. Now they got Michael Gallup. But Andy Dalton with a 3-headed monster at the wide receiver, a running back who's good, who has fumbling problems, but then he cleaned it up later in the year. I mean, like Andy Dalton had some things. That team was better than any Bengal team he had at the end of his career. So I thought he could really go off. And he actually, what I thought about Andy Dalton going into the season, he went way backwards because I thought with that Cowboys team, as we always say, you know what I mean? Is it Dak Prescott being so good? Or is it the fact that a lot of quarterbacks could survive with that roster? Now, they did have an offensive line banged up and stuff like that, but go ahead and give me your point.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the hardest thing for a backup quarterback, people gotta understand, is they're playing in an offense that's not for them. It's for the starter. The offense is tailored for the starter. So when they're coming in, they're already at a disadvantage. They're playing in an offense that's not even meant for them.
Correct. But again, listen, Dak Prescott, a guy who moves around like Jalen Hurts, a little less. So again, Andy Dalton moves more than Flacco though. So it was still, well, go ahead. Every backup has that issue. That's why, look, at the end of the day, think about if you go 100 years, there's how many backups make the playoffs, let alone win the Super Bowl. And when you start looking at them analytics, it's really at the healthiest team is the teams that beat. That's why Kansas City going into the Super Bowl was the favorite, or in the playoffs, they were running through teams. And then once they got the injury bug on the offensive line, it made them susceptible to the Tampa Bay's pass rush. Now, I don't know what would happen if we rewind that and get a healthy offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it could be a different story. And that's how the sports world is. We can't get mad at it. But I just think Philadelphia, including Harry Roseman, because they won a chip with the backup, they're never going to let it go. They're always going to try to get a fringe starter as a backup, a fringe. Because think about it, Nick Foles was a fringe starter, and people who said that he can go on a run and be a starter, well, he went to Jacksonville and got hurt, week 2, week 3, and that's when Gardner Minshew came in and stuff like that and played his role, and Nick Foles never got a job back. But there's, Jeff Garcia, Nick Foles, Kevin Cobb, Michael Vick, all these guys were backups, and they were upper echelon backups. But it's still, it got us 1 Super Bowl. I mean, it's not like it's a recipe of success for us and other teams.
Mike, do you think we win that Super Bowl without LeGarrette Blount, without the running game we had, without the defense? So I don't think it was so much Foles. With that offense, I think a lot of guys could have come in and did that.
Yeah,
hey,
that was
Mike,
one of them teams.
Remind the people how to get up in the streamer, because we had a couple of messages people trying to get in.
Got you. Hey, Eric G, let me know right after this. Let me know your thoughts on that. But listen, if you are a channel member, go to the community tab. I put a community post out, and in the title of the community post is the link to the StreamYard. This is a channel member live stream, so all channel members, and listen, normally I pick these things a couple days ahead. I will hit the channel members up on a community post and say, hey, it's Monday. Are you guys available on Thursday? But today I was feeling a little, as Jalen Hurts would say, freaky. And I decided to do it. Pause. I decided to do it last minute. And so with that being said, I put a community post up 25, 30 minutes ago saying any channel members want to join me for a channel member live stream. So Birdman951, go to the post. You can jump in if you're available. Same with Jalen Williams, and there was one more.
Foothills, I know he was asking also.
But go ahead, Eric G. Let me know your thoughts on just what we were talking about, because I kind of took us off rail.
Talking about the backup starting, right?
Yeah, like what is your take on, whether it's Minshew or Flacco
in general?
Yeah,
right.
yeah, winning games.
It's really an unheard thing. I've been watching your post for however long, and when you talk about the backups, like you did earlier today, it's like, who's this guy's backup? Who's this guy's backup? Who's this guy's backup? You just don't know because they're bottom of the barrel players. At least
32 plus, yeah.
Yeah, or worse. I mean, we just had one. But realistically, it's not their team up front. They got, they just got to try and adjust, I guess would be the word for it, to what the plays, how the coach is running it.
Yeah. Texas Eagle, let me know your thoughts on just the whole thing. And I'm not saying it's like completely garbage. I'm always thinking that once a starter goes down, most of the teams, at least 20 of the 32 teams are like, well, our season's over.
So here's my thoughts. Real quick, if I could, Mike, do you mind if I plug my new channel?
Oh, no, ahead. Plug it all up.
So you guys, I've just started a channel. It's only been up for a week now. I think I got 4 or 5 videos up. You can search Bill Legitimate Eagles Network or just search Texas Eagle. They'll pop up that way too. Texas Eagle on all socials. So I appreciate that, Mike. So here's where I'm at. I go back to thinking, why a lot of teams have opposite style quarterbacks as 1 and 2. I never got that. I think it slows the offense down. Like if you've got a Jalen Hurts type athlete, and then something happens to him, and then you come in with a big clotting, stumbling Joe Flacco type, it changes the offense totally.
It does.
So what? When you've got 2 similar guys with similar tools, I'm not saying that Minshew is as fast as Hurts or anything like that, but he can definitely get out of the pocket. He can definitely move around. I don't think it changes the offense as much as if something happens to Hurts and Flacco has to come in. If that makes sense. So go ahead.
Everybody has their own suited backup, like, you know what I mean? Like, RG3 type backup would be great behind a Lamar Jackson,
right.
Deshaun Watson, a Jalen Hurts, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're just talking about, once if you know your quarterback's hurt for a multitude of weeks, like, 10-week injury, well, that's when you start shifting, and coaches should and will have backup plans and stuff of that sort.
So I think today that we signed, and you guys may disagree, but I think today that we traded for the backup quarterback who has the highest ceiling in the league to me right now. That's my opinion.
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
But my thing is, you have to remember, this is Philadelphia. We have a history of our backup quarterbacks being needed. This is going back 20, 40 years. So for us to overlook the backup quarterback position, that's kind of dumb on our part because it's been so beneficial for us for so long.
Right. And I'm not trying to overlook it. I'm just saying that I think Minshew is a better fit as a backup because if he does have to come in at some point for 3, 4, 5 games, whatever, the offense doesn't change as much under him because their playing styles are more similar.
Correct. Real quick, shout out to my guy Bird Nation 302 with the $4.99 super chat. We should have got Fitzmagic with the laughing emojis. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if we would have got him, then we know that the Washington football team would be starting Tyler Heineke, or maybe Heineken. I don't know, either war. But shout out to the Nest Out West for joining the channel membership. if you just go to the community tab, the link is in the description, and we will do call-ins. We'll do regular call-ins where I get you guys to come in, but I'm trying to make this at least once or twice a month a channel member stream, and it is what it is for those who have time and can come. Shout out to you guys.
What's up, Foothills? What's up, Foothills?
That's
What's
not
going on,
Foothills. That's Bird Gang
I mean,
951.
Bird Gang. I'm sorry, brother. What's up, Bird Gang?
It's Birdman in the building. It's about damn time, man. What's up, West Coast? What's up, East Coast? What's up, brothers? What's going on?
Hey, there you go. He got the sound effects and everything on there. But listen, and Vic, you're right. Look, let's be honest. We have a history of needing backups, but when has the backup really paid dividends besides Nick Foles?
Hey, Ronnie Pete. You got Michael Vick. There's multiple because they saved our season. They got us in the playoffs. You can't say that.
All right, I'll give you that. But here's the thing, though. Michael Vick, again, you're right. But Gardner Minshew is not equivalent to Michael Vick, and other backups in the league ain't equivalent. The only reason Michael Vick was a backup is because of custody things. That's the same thing. Listen, let's be honest. Colin Kaepernick can come out there and probably make a starting roster over a couple quarterbacks, but because he couldn't.
Not today. Not today.
Now.
I don't think so.
Maybe 2 years ago. Not now. You're 3 years out the league. It's past you. The league's too fast.
All right, you're not listening to the point. The point is not that he's washed now. The point is that when he first got blackballed out the league or whiteballed out the league, however you want to go about it, he could have came back that initial year and been better than a lot of people, but he wasn't allowed to. But even if he was allowed to, which is disgustingly me saying, he would have been a backup somehow. Just the same way Michael Vick, who was the 100% a starter but went to jail for the dogfighting, had to be a backup. Colin Kaepernick would have to be a backup, but they're not real backups. At the end of the day, we flipped the script. Kevin Kolb was the backup that can't make it in the league, and Michael Vick was a starter who should have been given the first opportunity to start with. You see what I'm saying? So Kevin Kolb, but here's the thing, though. Now Kevin Kolb becomes our backup. What did Kevin Kolb ever do in his career? Nothing, because he is the legit not better than 32 starting quarterbacks.
Well, the one thing I will say for that is he got us a second-round pick, so that's what he did for us.
So you're talking about guys who have been starters in the league. So Minshew's one of those guys.
Correct.
He was a starter in the league.
Yeah.
But the only issue with Cobb was because, let's be honest, because he got the job in Arizona and he had the Buffalo job. The only thing that took him out was injury. Like, there's always going to be a circumstance why you're a back. There's always going to be a reason, because if there wasn't, you'd be the starter. So it's either going to be injury, you're too old, or you weren't good enough. Those are always going to be the circumstances.
That's the thing. Listen, injuries and not good enough is the main fact that you don't want to be, because when you're not good enough, you can't get good enough. That's just hard to do. If you went through college and high school, you went through all them things, and once you're 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years in the league, if you're not good, you're just not good. What I'm saying is, the Eagles been on the backup quarterback, and it might have slipped us in playoffs and stuff like that, and it's always good to rooting for. But my thing is this: I want to start getting the quarterback that starts the season to finish the season, because how many other teams does it? It's not like it's impossible. Think about every Super Bowl winning team. They start week 1 with that quarterback, and they finish week 19 with that quarterback. Why can't we do it somehow, some way? We got to get it done.
Well, I mentioned on my show before, like, every time there's a game played, every player, like, you got to thank the man above or whoever you believe in for you being able to survive that game, because this is the most physical sport there is out there. So when people are like, injury prone, I don't think that's a thing. It's just the fact that you're playing a very physical sport. Have you been lucky not to get injured? Yes. Have you been fortunate to, continue your career because you haven't been injured? Some people are. Some people aren't because of the way they play. You know what I mean? So when you say injuries, you got to look at that. That can happen to anyone. So that's why I always say you have to stress that backup quarterback position. It has to be important, because just like we say, any given Sunday, someone can win. Any given game, anyone can get hurt.
True, but Eric G, I'm going to let you in on this one, and I'm going to go to Texas Eagle and Birdman 951 as well. Eric G, what is your take on the fact that the quarterback position is meant to be, and all the rules that change, you can't hit him low, you can't hit him high. They're trying to protect the quarterback. So now it's at the quarterback's decision to know when to slide, know when to get rid of the ball, and not take them stupid hits. And when you have a bad offensive line, what is the biggest talk about? You're gonna get that guy killed back there. But if you build the line right, you can have a quarterback who doesn't barely get touched, and his chances of being hurt are limited. We need to do that for him. So what is your take on just keeping a quarterback healthy, Eric G?
So I know the whole new rules thing all probably came out because quarterbacks are now lasting longer than they normally did. So we got examples, Brady, Rodgers, they're all pushing 40. But
Breeze was 40 when he was 40 something.
Yeah,
They didn't use rules because of Brady.
It's all up there now. But I think it's all like the whole thing about sports science is coming back. Finding ways to things to implement in your team's training and nutrition and all this stuff to help. So I think that might be where everything's going to be going from here on out. And I think it's all going to focus on that one major position. Because if you don't have a quarterback, you're kind of dead in the water.
That is facts too, and that's my thing. Like, you also got to look at what your team is really presenting. Are you a Super Bowl contender? Or are you in real rebuild? And it makes sense to have Minshew as the guy being 25 and not the old guy who is the same ages as quarterback, the same age as our quarterback coaches and coaches in general. You know what I mean? So I agree there. But go ahead, Birdman 951. What's your take on, can the Eagles have a whole season with one quarterback? Can we do it?
Yeah, the thing is, what I like about Minshew coming in as a backup or whatever, I think, this is, I don't think Hurts is going to be out at all unless he's like god awful, but I don't see it. But I like the energy coming for Gardner Minshew, and I think the Eagle fans are going to play off that. And it's all about, that home field advantage and just being electric, sort of like that Nick Foles thing, the believe. We believe in St. Nick and all that stuff. So I kind of believe that would play into it. But, let's just face it here, if Minshew is coming in, it's because there was an injury or, he's just playing a god awful or something like that. But I don't see it. But I think I like the energy in the quarterback room because let's just face it, guys. Mullins was just, I don't know what happened, man. He's just not feeling Philadelphia. He is Philadelphia, bro, like whatsoever. But for some reason, I just feel like Minshew might just get the Philadelphia fan base. And then you know how geek we are. I mean, it's just, I think the energy is going to be good. It's not to take any shine away from Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts has his own swag and his own right. And, this is just going to be exciting. And I think the quarterback room is got it just a little bit brighter. Joe Flacco, I know he's like a Philadelphia native and all that, but he just kind of a little bit too quiet for me, guys. Like, I don't feel any electricity coming from him. It just seems like he's just there to get a paycheck. I don't really get anything good coming out of Flacco. I'm not saying like, he can't do the job or anything. It's just like, I don't get the vibe from Flacco. I guess it's his personality or whatever. I don't feel that, anything electricity flowing from him. I just kind of feel like it's kind of just like, hey, I'm here to collect the paycheck, and if I get a shot, I get a shot. If not, I'm gonna, go look for another job or something like that. So
this is his last job. He got to be done soon. He's done soon. But
right.
Texas Eagle, let me know your thoughts on just the Eagles actually having a quarterback that can play the season, the duration.
Yeah, I'm confident in Hurts. But I have to admit, when you get guys like that who tend to tuck the ball and run a lot, like Hurts does, you're going to take some hits. You're going to take shots, man. So that bothers me a little bit. Him holding the ball a little too long, him taking off a little too early, taking too many shots, that bothers me. But watching him last year, it's like he doesn't really take he doesn't really take solid shots. Like, he doesn't really give you a square shot most of the time. So I like that. I think he'll be okay. I'm more worried about it. I was thinking about it earlier when the Minshew stuff first broke, and I was wondering, I wonder what Hurts is thinking, like mentally. I wonder what he's thinking. Are they bringing this guy in to like actually compete with me? I wonder what's in his mind. And I think that Hurts is a little bit stronger mentally than one of our former quarterbacks that used to be here. I don't think Hurts is going to let it get to him as much mentally as that guy did. So, yeah, I think he can. And if not, again, I agree with Birdman, everything he said about the energy with Minshew. He reminds me a lot about Hurts as far as their game goes, as far as the way they play. He brings big energy. He's a gamer. Guys will follow him. I mean, I've been watching him since college. I know you guys have too. So guys will follow him. He's a leader. He's a dog. He gets out there and he plays hard. So I think these guys will follow him, and I think the city will love him. Even though I'm not a Philly guy, you guys know I'm from Texas. But I do love the city. I've been there before. But I think the city will get behind this guy. I think Eagles fans in general are going to love Gardner Minshew.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like that's the thing. He is that energy bringer enough to try to, take over a starting job. And you already heard him, part of when Trevor Lawrence was drafted there, he was not backing down and saying, I'm not going to be number 2. You know what I mean? Now, his preseason games ain't really they ain't do him any favors. He's been bad in the preseason, but you can look at the bulk of good that he's done over time. I will say this, though. It's a lot easier to put up numbers when you're always trailing. And so you can have them extra yards, extra passes, extra touchdowns that don't mean nothing. I mean, if my stats are good, but I'm 1-7. I mean,
that's Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
But to answer your question earlier, the only way you're going to ensure that your quarterback, the only way you can ensure that your quarterback has a healthy season is investing in your offensive line and making sure that offensive line is as good as possible.
That's a good point.
That's the only way. Other than that, say prayers.
That's why I'm saying, and that's another thing about the keeping 3 quarterbacks. What if keeping 3 quarterbacks cost you 1 offensive lineman in depth? You got to cut somebody that you may actually need. That's my thing against keeping the 3 quarterbacks. You may actually cut some depth that you end up having to need, an old lineman, a receiver, a cornerback, somebody. You may cut somebody to have 3 quarterbacks on this team that you're not going to use.
But it's not like we never had 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
It's true. It's true. I just don't see the point.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. I think now because what is invested in each and every one, we'll keep 3 of them. I really do believe that. I was the biggest 2-guy quarterback carrier because of the youth at wide receiver, the randomness at secondary, and the injury prone offensive line. But you're right, we need our offensive line. Listen, if our offensive line don't stay healthy, if the right side don't stay healthy, then it's all off. I mean, you're not going to get a great version of Jalen Hurts. You're not going to get the grade Jalen Hurts the right way because he's going to be running for his life. And we've heard that excuse for other quarterbacks, but somehow Philly quarterbacks don't get it. But here's the thing. I agree with Vic when it comes to Minshew offers you a lot more than Flacco. My only thing about Flacco is that I think he is an upper echelon backup. Hence, that's why Minnesota will be willing to pay. Why is Minnesota willing to get Flacco, but are not looking for the Dallas Cowboys backup, the Arizona's backup, the Kansas City's backup?
You talking about Ben DiNucci?
No, Eric Gilbert is their backup.
We all seen Ben DiNucci. We all know why they call it man.
Gary Gilbert's a Longhorn, bro. So I like Gilbert, but yeah, go ahead, Mike.
But the thing is, a lot of the reasons why they can't get him is because teams value those backup quarterback positions. That's why they're not going up.
No, Vic. Minnesota's not looking at any other backup quarterback for other teams because they're not as good as Flacco.
Oh, I don't know who else is Minnesota looking at. They could be calling everybody around the league. I don't know who they're looking at, but Flacco was one of the guys that were mentioned out of it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know who specifically they're going after, but Flacco was just one of the guys that were mentioned.
Yeah, well, my whole thing is this, though. I've always been a guy that says, well, now that Minshew's here, it's cool. But like Flacco wasn't the worst backup. He's not a good quarterback. That's why his career turned into a backup. Because once you turn to a backup, meaning, again, everybody's goal is to say, you are the backup situation. I'm paying you to do this, but hopefully, and I pray to God, you don't have to come in. But there's the Eagles always keep a fringe starter, and Flacco is a fringe type starter. Like, if you go past the 32 starting quarterbacks, you're not going to get to 42 before you mention Flacco's name, and that's what it is. You're not going to get to 42 before you mention Minshew's name. You wouldn't got to 42 before you mentioned Nick Foles' name. And you can say Andy Dalton, but my trust in Andy Dalton went way down after he let the Cowboys down. But let's switch this over. Go ahead, Vic. Say one more thing. We're going to switch it over to like Atlanta week, because it's coming up in a couple days, couple weeks. Go ahead.
Wait, say one thing about what the quarterback.
No, if you want it, because I think you said you had a list of all the quarterbacks that are better than
Flacco. Yeah. No, I could just name a couple. Look, we got Mitch Trubisky. You have Nick Foles, as previously mentioned, Dwayne Haskins, Mike McGlennon, Brandon Allen. You have Kyle Allen, Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett. I'm rattling off a couple right there. I'm pretty sure I'm in the 7 range.
I don't like Haskins. I don't like Mike.
It's not about liking. It's that the fact that they're better than Flacco. That's it.
That's
He's better than Flacco.
Now we're going opinionated.
You think Wayne Haskins is going to win less than Joe Flacco? You would honestly, if you were just to have your team and your quarterback's out,
Dwayne
you're dependent on your quarterback.
Second string quarterback on the Steelers.
Yes, he is. You're trying to say Madison Rudolph's going to win that position
over Haskins? Yeah.
No, he's not.
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins. Mike Tomlin just came out talking about Dwayne Haskins and his future with the team. How is he not going to make the second string? You have the coach over here gloating on him.
Flacco over Haskins. It's just simple and plain.
Hey man, your team's going to lose a lot of games, Cam.
For 1 year, I'm not going to take him for multiple because Haskins younger, of course. For 1 year, Haskins is Haskins.
At the moment, like I said, I'm just taking Haskins. I see him as a better quarterback. I just rattled off 10.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Hey, still better. Regardless of what you're saying, because it's not a name that you like, it's still better. I just named off 10. Wasn't that hard?
You didn't need like 6 of them I don't agree with. Like 5 of them I'll give you. 5 or 4.
Blaine Gabbert's another one will go down. Tyrod Taylor.
He's not a backup. Tyrod Taylor's a starter for the Texans.
Oh, but he's really a backup because their starter can't play. So yeah, he's a backup.
No, he's a starter. He's listed as a starter. He can't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's listed as a starter because why? Because their starter, their franchise quarterback, can't play. If Watkins didn't have this legal trouble, would he be starting?
We can't make excuses because the thing is this though. It doesn't matter. Right now, he's listed as a starter, and he's started for multiple teams. So again, what'd you call that?
I didn't even know the guy.
I'm gonna call Brian Hoyer. I'm gonna keep it going. Brian Hoyer. Jameis Winston. Whether if you call him a starter, then you can't call him that. We'll go with Taysom Hill.
Winston is a starter. They just named him QB1.
Then we'll go with Taysom Hill. Still better.
Taysom Hill.
Again, there are 10 quarterbacks better than Flacco. You can't say that. There are 10 quarterbacks better. That point, you got to go move. There are 10 guys better.
So I'm really 100% saying Haskins is not better. So start all over again. Say him again.
Hold on.
Where's your list? Slowly. I'm going to give you my 100% opinion, and I'm not trying to be biased or nothing.
No. That's like I said, it's an opinion.
Correct. Go ahead.
Hold on, I got to go back to it.
Take your time.
I'll just start from here. Trubisky, you said no.
No.
Better. Where are we going? Andy Dalton, you didn't want to accept him even though he is.
I'll give him. I'll give him. Minus the Cowboy season, I'll give it to him.
Dwayne Haskins, Mike McGlennon.
No.
Brandon Allen.
No.
Beathard. We just talked about him before.
He did better than Minshew, and that's why Minshew got traded, but I'll say no.
That bias. Kyle Allen.
No.
My guy. Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yes.
Hell, I even say Jeff Driscoll. Like that. Ooh, excuse me.
No, not Driscoll.
Blaine Gabbert.
No.
I won't even say Cole McCoy. I'm gonna pass on that one.
Brian Hoyer's one I would put above.
I didn't see it. I didn't get to him yet, but yeah, Brian Hoyer's one I didn't mention before. Who are we going? John Wolford.
Who?
John Wolford.
No.
That's another quarterback you said couldn't go to the playoffs. That's a backup who played in the playoffs for the Rams. Tyler Hinkey.
Oh yeah, he's the backup for the Washington.
I'll
He's
even
on.
say PJ Walker. Say PJ Walker ain't better than him.
No,
Oh my.
You guys are tripping me
Hell,
out.
Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. No,
You know he's better. Hey, again, better. You put like, man, you got Pat Flacco on this pedestal. Like it's
No.
past. He even when he was at his peak, he was a decent quarterback.
Yeah,
So
Even at his peak, if it
I
wasn't for this Super Bowl, if it wasn't for the Super Bowl, Joe Flacco would have been a guy who just trudged along and was lucky enough to be a starter.
let me just say this real quick. Even at Joe Flacco's best, I thought he was always a middle of the pack guy, at the most. Middle of the pack, 15, 16. That Super Bowl run in the playoffs was fantastic, but that season going to the Super Bowl, he was just the 15 or 16 best quarterback. But still, listen, some of the guys you named, they have upside where they can rush for a couple yards in one game, they can throw one big game, but their biggest thing is Trubisky, turnovers. Brandon Allen, turnovers. Josh Dobbs, turnovers. These guys, the one thing Flacco might not do, he might check it down a lot, but he's not going to throw a lot of picks. He's going to give you, he's going to check down to runs. Guess what? When we threw that touchdown to Quez Watkins, that wasn't the play call. Joe Flacco turned that to that because he just
And
knows
that's my exact point.
And so what? No, he turned to he checked out.
I know,
of it to that.
but remember what I mentioned to you before.
Ain't doing it.
But remember what I mentioned to you before. One of the biggest issues with Joe Flacco is he reverts to what he does. He doesn't play with any offense.
He knows
that
how
play
to
that
play
you
with
see
the
JJ
offense.
count that touchdown on, that wasn't that play. Flacco made him go out because he saw it. Flacco always ends up playing his game, never sticking to the plan. That's another issue Flacco has.
Okay, Vic, that play was JJ ran his route. Flacco was scrambling. Every quarterback points up to go up when they're doing that.
But I guarantee you that wasn't supposed to be the play that was supposed to go.
Correct.
Flacco saw that he was open and automatically came out and said, "Move up," and he threw him the ball.
Yes, but
again, Flacco goes back to his thing.
Vic.
That's what I'm saying. Flacco just reverts back to the things that he knows. That's the only point I'm making.
Okay, but what I'm saying is when you check into a play, I agree. If he checks into a play, first of all, he can go back to what he knows, but he also saying, I see where the defense is. I'm going to check to this play, this, that, and the third, right? But my thing is when you're in the middle of a game and you point up, you're just extending the play. Listen, when we saw the Quez Watkins catch at the live practice, when we saw the Quez Watkins catch in the Jets training camp, what did Hurts do? Once listen, every coach calls a play after 4 seconds, their routes are all done. There's no more route to run in 4 seconds. So if the plays extend past 4 seconds, now you're just free for all in it. And if you see your guy, you can say, hey, go this way, go that way, go that way. And most receivers who have chemistry with their quarterback know how to roll that way. So when Joe Flacco told him up, that's everything. But before the play is snapped, that is a quarterback changing the play. That when the play is in and 4 seconds are up and he did his little dig route and he didn't get open, but Flacco got the ball still and he hasn't been sacked yet. That is different. That's not him doing his own thing. That's just saying, bro, I'm running. I can see that you have leverage up. Just run straight.
Or it could be that there were certain reads and certain things that were supposed to happen. Joe Flacco just told him, abandon that, run up because you have the open field.
Let me ask you, Mike.
It's something known with Flacco. It's not a secret.
So without that defense, Mike, do you think Flacco even ever wins a division without that defense he had every year?
No
way.
Pittsburgh in that
No
division.
way.
No. But hey, real quick, shout out to Philly Foothills coming in here. Definitely, if you haven't subscribed to him, he's keeping it 100 on the West Coast as well. But look, my thing has never been. I'm not trying to argue the point that is, but some of the guys you named, Vic 3, some of the guys you named, they barely even made second string. Some of the guys you name have only been third string. Listen, Kyle Allen, for the majority of his career, was third until people got hurt. Kyle Allen only came in once this guy and this guy and this guy went down. Brandon Allen, he was never even a second string. So you're naming me third string guys that you think because you hate Flacco so much that just because they are a little, you're 25, you probably run faster and you're automatically
That's not even my point. But the same point you're using, you're saying, all of this, the same thing could have been said about Travis Fulton, couldn't have. He was the guy that was going around on different teams, and you thought he was good because he had youth and talent. What did he end up turning out to? Not a lot. Again, that doesn't matter. The fact is, I have no hate towards Flacco. I see a quarterback who is way past his prime. I see a quarterback who can't play within the offense. I see a quarterback who, if a team is left to him, he will run into a ground. That's what I see. Again, it has nothing to do with Flacco. Don't even know the guy. But again, we all know that the Eagles jumped at a chance to get a second-string quarterback. They went out their way and overpaid for a quarterback. Now they're stuck with that money. They found someone less, and now they're trying to get rid of him. That's what's happening. That is the fact of the matter.
I mean, hey,
First of all,
to me,
there's no
Flacco's
proof that the Eagles are trying to get rid of Flacco yet. There's no
Hey,
proof.
there was nothing saying that the Eagles were trying to get a quarterback either, were there?
Yeah, Mullins' play said that.
Nah, no one knew.
Hey,
no
anybody
one
calling for Flacco, they're going to listen. They're going to listen. They will, because Flacco to me is, I mean, he's not much better than, hey, like a Trent Dilfer, right? I mean, wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without a great defense behind him. Wouldn't have won shit without a solid team, solid coaching behind him, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Here's what I will say one more time before I introduce Jay Will. And Trent Dilfer, who was not good either. Flacco was better still in the prime if you want to ask about that. But Trent Dilfer was still probably when Trent Dilfer hit 31, he was still a pretty good backup quarterback because he still offers you more than some of the guys who never even listen. Some of the guys that you named, Vic 3, they never even were thought of. And so what I'm saying is Flacco is not the same as he was back in the day, but he's still listen.
Didn't Trent Dilfer take over for Flacco?
Huh?
Didn't Trent Dilfer take over for Flacco?
Yeah.
When?
Dilfer ended up taking Flacco's spot for a little bit. When Dilfer played for the Ravens, didn't he play ahead of Flacco?
Well, no, Dilfer was there before. Yeah, he might have came in.
That was during their little thing with Flacco. Yeah, didn't he play?
Flacco was young. Flacco was young. So if Jalen Hurts gets benched as a rookie, that means he can never be better in his junior year and his third year in the season.
If he's benched as a rookie,
no,
that means he wasn't ready.
Well, how many years in the league was Flacco in the league when Trent Dilfer had a job over him?
I thought Flacco was in for a little bit when Trent Dilfer played. It was right before he ended his career.
Well, yeah,
I'm not sure if he was hurt or what it was, but I remember Dilfer playing some too. I can't remember.
They had an issue with Flacco. That was about the time when he started thinking about moving on from him.
Moving on for Dilfer, for Flacco.
I don't know if it was specifically for Dilfer, but I know he ended up taking over.
Listen, Dilfer won a Super Bowl in 2000. So Dilfer was the old head. They drafted Flacco to replace Dilfer. So if they got Flacco and Flacco was on the team and then he ended up letting Dilfer play, it was probably because he was hurt or something, because Dilfer was on his way out. But again, what I'm saying to you is this. There's two type of backups. You can have the rookie backup where it's a big question mark. He could be super butt or super good, or you can have. And again, and some of the guys you name, we're only going off upside because there's guys you name that only played no more than 6 games. So as much as we want to say question marks on other people, like Brandon, like Kyle Allen, he started like what? Oh well, Cam Newton got hurt. I forgot about that. But he started like not more than 14 games. He hasn't started more than 14 games probably.
But he had a good run last season. You can't lie. He had a good run. When he was in there, the
Washington football team, he wasn't that good.
Yeah, he ended up taking over. Because remember, they dropped Dwayne Haskins. They started Kyle Allen. Allen got hurt. They had Hinkie. And if I'm not mistaken, Allen came back and played in that playoff game. Or was that Hinkie?
That was Hinkie.
I think it was Allen.
Mike, if you had to win one game today, if you had to win one game today, are you starting Minshew or Flacco? You had to win one game today.
Listen, I've never said that.
One game today.
I've never said that Minshew wasn't better than Flacco. The only this is going off like a rematch stream between me and Vic. So my subscribers who are listening, shout out to the 144 people in here. Hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. I want to get Jay Williams' take on this. The like button is free. It's easy. We got 144 people in the building, but me and Vic were going on AK Eagle and Philly Foot, his channel, and that's what it was. But the thing is, I just think that Vic thinks that Flacco is worse than what he really is, and that's where it started. And the Minshew thing is, he said I would trade for Minshew for a 6th-round pick. I said I don't think they'll give it to him, and I'll give him all the credit for that. I gave him credit in my video or on a pinned comment. But at the end of the day, and I said Minshew is better than Flacco, but I do not think Flacco is. I say you can't name 10 backups better, and again, what I say, and some of the backups that you said, Vic, I honestly don't believe is better, but. Vic, I'm telling you to your face, Mariota's better and Minshew is better. But my whole take on Philly Foot, his channel, was I'm not willing to trade assets for it. I didn't know it was going to be a 6th-round pick. Jay Williams, What is your take on Flacco being, the worst backup quarterback, a middle of the pack backup quarterback, all that stuff? What is your take on it?
No, he's a good backup quarterback. It's no, even I'll say it like this. Just like Jason Peters is a bad starting left tackle, Flacco is that level or that area. You get what I'm saying? Jason Peters will always and forever be better than some rookie or some third-year player who's barely even played. You get what I'm saying?
That's why the Bears signed him.
Yeah. So understanding that Flacco is pretty good. I honestly think Flacco, if God forbid anything happens, if he looks confident running the Eagles offense, he may be one of those placeholder starters going forward. Same thing like Andy Dalton just did, but a little bit further removed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think Andy Dalton had a bad showing with Dallas, though.
I was going to say that. He didn't do the same thing he did with Dallas.
Well, and I'll say it like this.
Desperate.
Flacco has had a lot of unfortunate events that happened in his career. So I think he went from his last year in Baltimore, he got hurt, he got replaced by Lamar Jackson. Then he went to Denver and he got a neck injury, and that put him down. He hadn't fully recovered. That's when after that he signed with the Jets. The Jets signed him. He was still recovering. Sam Darnold was the starting quarterback. He stepped in. There was some talk of him still recovering. Okay. I don't know what level higher Flacco can be than what I've seen for the last 3 years. But that quarterback that I saw for the last 3 years, if you told me he was a top 30 quarterback, I would have believed you. Without knowing any context, just looking at him right there. Yeah, he's a starting quarterback, but he's not that good. You get what I'm saying?
This is my whole thing, and I want the chat to understand. I am on board with Minshew eventually being a number 2. As soon as Minshew learns the playbook, and shout out to my guy running back Philly, he said, wish there was a 4th preseason game so we can ramp up the Minshew mania. Big facts. And listen, Minshew, just by being 25 and having the upside I seen with an ugly Jacksonville Jaguar team, I'm all for Minshew being the guy. My whole thing is, before Minshew was here, me and Vic were talking on another channel, and we were pretty much saying, like, I think Mullins is trash. Vic took the statement back, but he was like, when Mullins first came, he's like, Mullins is better than Flacco. Your thing was that you thought Flacco was split. What I'm saying is, before Flacco even played and before Nick Mullins played, you just went off of what Flacco was with the Jets and the Broncos, and he was trash. But they were also trash organizations when you look at what was built around them, right? So what I'm saying is, I don't think the whole argument that we started, and this was really supposed to be a who's better, Minshew, who's going to start, who's going to become the second string quarterback, and everybody on a panel said Minshew, except for Joey Z, who dipped. And I agree, it's Minshew, because he's on this. Yeah, he was supposed to just come right back, but he dipped. But the thing was, the reason we're going so deep in this, and shout out to Victory, and it's all love at the end of the day, is I don't think Joe Flacco, I don't think there's 10 backup quarterbacks, and Minshew was one that are better. And Jalen's saying that he's going like back, kind of fringe, low-key starter. But I just think there's not 42 better than Flacco. I think, again, as we say, Carson Wentz is probably going to look pretty good with the Colts, but he just looked ultimately worse with us, right? So if Carson Wentz looks good with the Colts, but he looks as the worst quarterback with us, well, then you can say Flacco being with the Jets and the Broncos, maybe that's part of the reason why he looks so bad. And I don't think Flacco is good. I think at his peak, he was the middle of the pack quarterback. And I think right now there's probably only 5 or 6 backups I would take over Flacco. And that is my stance. And I'm not moving off, because I believe
I agree with that. When you say that the last couple of teams he played on, he was trash because the teams made him look like trash or didn't help him. It's the same way with when he was winning with the Ravens. The Ravens defense was so good and that team was so good that it made him look better than he actually was, I think. So it goes both ways. Go ahead.
So I think there's one thing that's missing in this. We saw Gardner Minshew put up numbers. He saw him come in when no pressure was on him, no tape. He looked pretty well. there's a difference when people actually have something to lose. Gardner Minshew in Jacksonville, they said, regardless of what happens, you are a starting quarterback. As long as you don't get injured or you can play, you're playing. That's what happened in Jacksonville, and that's something that made Gardner Minshew look better than what he was. Sometimes when Gardner Minshew at the helm, it looked
long hair
awful.
don't care. Long hair don't care.
I'm not even talking about picks or nothing like that. I'm talking about he couldn't complete simple out routes. I'm just wide open. Oh, I threw the ball inside. Okay, I'll get you next time. He throws it again, misses it. Third time's the charm. He hits it. All right, can I go back to that later in the game? Nope. Because guess what? Somebody's actually sitting on it. That's when you get your pick.
Say hi.
That's Gardner Minshew.
A lot of that had to do with the fact that his coaching staff was no one there was developing. A lot of that had to do with that. Because Jacksonville, we all know, is a revolving door of coaches.
Yeah, like I said, he hasn't developed. So,
and everything he's developed was on his own.
Yeah, say it one more time.
I said everything that he's been developing is pretty much on his own.
Yeah, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, some guys develop, some guys don't develop, regardless of how perfect the situation is. Jared Stidham.
So you think because he felt so comfortable in securing his job that he didn't care, that he didn't take the time? I mean, he knew it was his job, however he performed.
Yeah, and I remember he fought for that job because remember, even though Nick Foles was hurt, when he came back, there was still a competition for him to take that job away.
Yeah,
Nick Foles never got it back. It's for a reason.
That's true.
Also,
money might have played a factor. Let's be honest, money did play a factor.
Before y'all talking about Nick Foles didn't get his job back, this is where the business of football comes into play. Jacksonville was a bad team regardless.
Well, Nick Foles was never going to get his job back because they realized they were trash and we're not trying to pay that $109 million. If Nick Foles comes in,
looks good, and wins you a few games,
you don't like him. You start a quarterback off of free agency for that first year and get rid of him the next.
Yeah, that's bad. But that's look. Just to clear it up,
bad look all around, except for Minshew.
Yeah, but just to clear this up before we go to ATL, and I want to get Eric G's thought on ATL week 1. Look, I like what Jalen Williams said, but I won't even go. My whole thing on this thing was I agree that Minshew's better, but I just thought that I was just trying to get to Vic that I think we look at Flacco different. I look at Flacco as a serviceable backup. The most I want to see him play is 3 games. Like if Hurts will get hurt for 2 or 3 games, I think Flacco can get you afloat. Maybe get you 500, maybe 1 game under 500, but he's not going to go 0-3. I think that is what he offered you. But if I seen Flacco for the whole year, I wouldn't want to see it. That's just my whole thing. And again, Vic, you can shake your head all you want, but this is an opinionated thing. It is. I just honestly believe Flacco is a top 38 quarterback in the league, top 38, 39, and I'm not going to move off that. And I will give you the flowers and say Minshew is better. But the same way you didn't even think to even wait and see how Mullins was, you claim Mullins was better just because of the fact that you said that I saw Flacco with other teams. He's washed. He's too old. But we can't argue the fact that Flacco, besides the Patriots game, and he didn't score a touchdown, but he's looked decent. He looked decent in Pittsburgh. He looked decent in the Jets game. And even in the Patriots game, if he probably plays the whole game, he probably gets some type of score because Mullins is just trash.
Well, let's bring up Mullins since you bring him up. Yeah, I based everything off of what happened in San Francisco, the same way I based everything off of I see Joe Flacco off of New York and Denver. Also, what you didn't know was, I even said it after the first game, there's an issue with Mullins when he throws the ball. He looks like he's throwing the ball labored. Come to find out, he had surgery and came back on the offseason. One of the reasons why Mullins looks like straight shit, because he can't throw the ball. He physically can't do it. So next season, if Mullins comes back, because you know what's going to happen, you know he's going to come back, they always do. And they retract their steps. If Flacco's here and that quarterback competition goes down, you think it's going to end differently? You think Mullins is not going to perform better?
Mullins ain't coming back to Philly.
Nope. Listen, there's no one. You got to go around the whole thing again. So you always go back to your familiars.
Yeah, he's going to go back to the Niners, if anything.
Niners, there's too many quarterbacks back in the Niners.
Lions or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to the familiars. You know, like I said, like you said before, Philly's always has an opening for a quarterback. We're always taking a look.
Minshew will be here next year. Minshew will be under contract. No way Mullins comes back next year.
Saleh will pick him up. I bet Saleh will pick Mullins up. Watch.
For the Jets? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay, listen, injured or not, listen, it's beyond a thing. At the end of the day, I'm never gonna say that Joe Flacco ain't a serviceable quarterback. Listen, when we signed Joe Flacco for $3.5 million, if you go back and look at that video, my video was titled what it was, right? But this is exactly what I said on the video. Do I want to see Joe Flacco come in for multiple games? No, but I think there's not many backup quarterbacks out there that are better. If you want to nitpick, you can. You can find the Mariotas. You can find the, if you want to call Andy Dalton, you can find the Brian Hoyers and all that. But you might have to pay. Fitzpatrick was out there before, I guess, maybe. I don't even know. You got to pay more money. I think Flacco was decent for what he was, but at the end of the day, he is a backup, and my goal is to not see him. I want to see number one the whole time. With that being said, we play ATL in less than in 2 weeks. What's your thoughts on
13 days?
13 days, 12 days, I think it is, right? 12, I think. I know
Whenever
it's 12.
Sunday, Sunday is. Yeah.
It's 12. No. It's 12 until the season starts, right?
Isn't it 2 weeks from today, right? Or tomorrow?
Say it again.
2 weeks from tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
15 days.
So it's 15 days. 12 days until the season starts, where Dallas opens up against the Bucks and gets their butt whooped, right? So 12 days for that. Because I know, because you just shared that Victor's dude's thing when he had Randall Cunningham doing the thing. I saw that. But anyways, 15 days. Hurts and the starters had limited snaps in preseason. Are you worried that we come out rusty? And what is your take on Atlanta week 1?
Not worried at all. Atlanta's D is a little rough right now, and they're gonna have a lot of stuff to worry about. And with our number ones on the D, we will have no issues. Ooh. So that game is going to be in our hands to win or lose.
So you think we go out in ATL, where we do struggle in ATL a little bit?
We struggle all the time there. I know this, but
Julio's not there no more.
He's been a killer.
Julio's not there right now. Let's give it a buck. That's the most of our struggles.
Well, that's true. I mean, Jones he's a beast, but I think we go in there and take it.
So, I mean, it's kind of early, but if you had a score prediction, I would love to hear it.
Did you see what the over/under is?
I'm not sure. We're underdogs. I know. That's all I know. Like 2.5 points.
The over/under is 48, and the Falcons are negative 3.5 right now.
So they're favored by 3.5.
Yep.
They're favored by more than a field goal. So they're saying they're going to win by 4 points or more, right? Yeah.
They have to get a touchdown. But yes, let's see. Score prediction. 28-21.
I'll
take the under. Or 28, 21, 49. Take the over. 28-21.
There we go. So we're going to go to Philly Foothills. Let me know your thoughts going in. First, tell me, are you worried about the rust factor in the starters and just traveling to ATL for week 1? I think it's a big week for us being a young team. It's very nice if we come off week 1 with a dub. But what's your take on the rust and that game?
You know, it is a little concerning, to be honest with you, when it comes to all the starters playing together, especially for an extended period of time in game scenario. But that aside, I think we've had some really good solid joint practices, and I really do like our chances, because like my guy up in the corner said, Atlanta's defense is susceptible, and so is their offensive line. So I think our defensive line is going to eat way more than Zeke is going to eat week 1. That's for damn sure. I can still do that with my bad wrist, my bad hand. Even though, I do think that we're going to get Matt Ryan. He is a statue of a quarterback, and we're going to have some good eating on that defensive line. The linebackers even are going to get in the mix, and I think I think we're going to hold them to under 20 points. So I'm saying the final score is going to be 24-14 us.
We eating all that Wagyu?
All that stuff. I go ahead, Texas Eagle. Let me know your thoughts on the rust factor, how we come out and attack ATL.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned. Look, there's an old adage that says you will play how you practice. And that goes for anything in life, football, piano, whatever. The way you practice is how you're going to play. So I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about rust. I did a video about how, the new coaching staff philosophy on practice and everything. I don't agree. I think you got to get your guys together. Freddie's just said it. You need that cohesiveness. You need to play together. I mean, you can't expect to just go out there week one and think that everything's going to gel and you're going to be okay. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I'm a little concerned there. But I do believe we've got the horses. We've got the guys that can get it done. So while I would probably take the under, I'm going to say 23-16, fly, Eagles fly, 1-0 Birds.
Let's go. Now we got 2 more people to go. We got Jay, Will, and Victory. But listen, we got 145 in the chat. 2 things. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. It literally takes a little bang. And also in the chat, let me know. I want you to guys, I can't even talk. I want y'all to tell me not only if we're going to win or lose, but let me know the score prediction. I know it's kind of early. We're still not a week away. We're not 3 days away. We're not 5 days away. We don't know who's starting this, that, and the third necessarily. We kind of get the gist. But let me know score prediction. Subscribers, y'all be talking y'all talk. Shout out to Marianne Johnson spitting fire in the chat. Y'all know y'all football, so give me your early score predictions. It's susceptible to change because we will do a score prediction before the game for a cash prize of $50, so you can change it. But right now, let me know, as I asked Jay Will, how you feel about ATL.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little bit more. I'm a little bit more worried about Atlanta than most people are. I don't know what to expect out this secondary yet. Yeah, we have Darius Slay. Yeah, we got Anthony Harris. But at the same time, Anthony Harris is an average player. You still going to be week one, you might be starting a rookie strong safety. You've never
Marcus Epps.
Huh? Marcus Epps or Kayvon Wallace.
I know. I'll take Epps just for GP.
Yeah. All right. So you got that motherfucker stuff in the background. So you got that going on. Nelson's going to be picked on. Let's keep it real. Calvin Ridley is going to pick on him. They're going to put it this way. Even if Slay tries to follow, guess what? They're going to try and set up the matchup of getting either Maddox on Ridley or get Nelson on Ridley. And I don't like that matchup at all. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts is going to be a matchup nightmare for our tight ends. Let's keep it real. And from there, if Atlanta can get the passing game going and it's bombs over Baghdad again because we lack talent in the secondary, hey, it might be a dogfight. But with all that, I'm getting the negative stuff out the way first. With all that being said,
I love it.
Our offensive line can win this game for us flat out. Atlanta's very small. They're small and fast. If you just run it down their throat, they have nothing to answer. But if you try and pass it, Jalen Hurts tries to run. That defense is fast enough to keep up with him. Deion Jones? Yeah, Deion Jones is a monster. 45 is their middle linebacker. Fast, can cover, can fill in the run. That will be Jalen Hurts' kryptonite. So I would not look surprised if he looks bad against Atlanta running the ball. You get what I'm saying? But everything else is an unknown. We have one clear, easy path to victory, which is running the ball. That's all I got to say on it.
And
hope that made sense.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah, nah.
and the defensive line has to help the secondary out. By the way, you made a good point about the secondary. So our defensive line has got to help the secondary out, get some pressure on Ryan, not let him sit back there, because if he does, he will pick us apart for real.
I'll say it like this: I don't even think the D line is going to be that big of a factor in this game. The reason why is Matt Ryan is a boom bam quarterback.
He gets the ball.
He can have the ball out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So he can neutralize a pass rush by himself. What it's really going to come down to is these corners being able to be in the right position, being able to make tackles in open space. That's really what it's going to come down to, more than our D line. Our D line may have some good numbers, but at the same time, as soon as Matt Ryan starts, okay, let me hit a little bubble to Calvin Ridley. Let me go ahead and hit a slant to Kyle Pitts. Okay. Oh, maybe we can't keep everybody, so close to the line of scrimmage, keep things crowded. We have to worry about things over the top and intermediate.
Double
now, okay, Atlanta has their offense open. And that's a path I can see the Eagles struggling with. I don't think this defense is as good as people are saying. You get what I'm saying? Because if I told you,
I think the D line is. I don't think the back end, but I think the D line.
I'm talking about overall.
Our D line.
No, overall no, but the D line I think is definitely top 5 if healthy.
So if I'm gonna say it like this: the Eagles defense healthy day one from the last 2 years. Do you think it's better than what we had this year?
Can't say we haven't seen them play yet.
Wait, say it again.
I get what you're saying. Just gut feeling on talent for talent, who's there in the scheme.
I would say since the Super Bowl, this is the best defense we had.
That's right.
Just for the fact of the cornerback.
Huh?
Just for the fact of the cornerback. We have stable quarterbacks now. Before we didn't have them.
And Marcus Epps and Kayvon Wallace is
when Rodney McCrock comes back, we're gonna be fine.
First of all, I hope he's good because that was a tough injury. But I do think low key the secondary is being Steven Nelson's going to get picked on. He's the weakest link. I've never said he was a lockdown. I just said that Maddox, Jaquette, McPherson. Oh my, you know what I mean? He's better than that. He's still a quality guy. He's going to get beat, but I think it's how you put him in the scheme, and I think this
quality is a stretch to me.
You don't think he's a C? I think he's a C minus. C. That's what I called him, a C minus.
Okay,
C+.
if you're saying C minus, I don't think that's quality. I think that's Walmart brand.
Okay, listen. Okay, then we had Kmart brand. Then we Kmart brand.
I mean,
so to me, the depth is the problem. If we go into this season and we've got Jaquette and whoever else, that's our depth. No, dude, we're in trouble. We're in serious trouble.
All right, but Jalen Williams, real quick. So, with all that being said, do we come out of ATL with the dub, or do we come out with the L?
You run the ball, you win. That's simple.
All right. Well, we don't got Doug, so there's a good chance we do that. Possibly.
Yeah.
A better chance of a Doug being there.
It's a good chance we do, but if Atlanta picks our secondary apart early and we're playing catch up, my gut feeling is telling me we're going to lose that game if they get a lead early.
Here's my thing. Look, I don't bet. Listen, I'm a big gambler. I make a lot of money. I always got to fill out a 1099 for my gambling. You know what I mean? I always do, right? But this is the thing. I am going to
big money.
Listen, I never picked the Eagles though. Week 1, I always mess with the Eagles, and then what the Eagles show me week 1 make me never even if they're really good. I try to not to do it, but if I know they're going to win, like in our Super Bowl years, like back in the early stuff, or whenever we were good, whenever we were a contender, I'll mess with them a little bit, but I treat them like I don't love them. I try not to. But week 1, I am picking us. I think it's like plus 132 or one something. I looked at it already on Sportsbook. I'm taking us to win in my parlay. But yeah, if we win, then we'll go off that. But if we lose, well, then I won't bet with the Eagles no more. Because I'll never pick against the Eagles. I just act like that game don't count when it comes to my wallet. So Jalen Williams says we're going to get the dub because we're going to run the ball 29 times total. I don't know who's getting them total runs, but we're going to run it 29 times. Victory.
And I would say it like this. I would not be surprised if Jordan Howard had more carries than Miles Sanders.
Wow.
Is he on the team?
Wow.
Or game
early week 1.
No, I think it's because it's a matchup based thing. You get what I'm saying? Miles Sanders not going to get you those tough yards. You're going to have 5 yards in cloud and dust, and it's going to be an easy way.
It's gonna be a battle.
And the best running back we have is Jordan Howard for that. That's why I'm saying it.
Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah. Hey,
Holyfield looked good yesterday. Holyfield looked good yesterday.
So does anybody feel bad for Holyfield? You guys feel bad for Holyfield? Like, he looks really good, but he's like never going to make it. He's never going to make the team, but he looks really good. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
I'll say it like this: he looks good, but the thing is, he's not following his own track. So when he gets the ball, he's not following his blocks. He's always trying to bounce it out. And him being I don't think your 40 really matters. I really think it's really the 10-yard burst, because once you put your foot in the ground in game, that's really where the stuff really happens. But I don't think he knows what he's doing. That's the sense I'm getting. He's just running the daylight and saying, all right, let me see if I can, run over a corner when I'm there.
He's big. Nah, but yeah, listen, I agree. So far, so good. Vic 3, cap us off before we go. What's your take on the Russ factor and us stepping into ATL for the dub or the L?
Well, I'll go off because you originally asked if, the players not being able to play in training camp, if that'll affect. I think it will a little bit, but the thing that will soften the blow is the fact that we had the joint practices, like Phil Hill mentioned. That's a lot of work that we got them in. That's a lot of the cohesiveness that they need to work on together. They were able to do. Although it wasn't during the training preseason game, it was done during practice. So there would be more times dedicated to that in practice than you would see in the preseason game. In the preseason game, you're going to get maybe like 1 or 2 series here and there. In practice, you have a couple of hours dedicated to that. So I think they may come out a little rusty for that reason, that they hadn't had that much time together. But that's only going to be maybe in the first couple of series. First series, maybe the second series, they might have a little rust. They'll knock that off quick. Now, my issue is a lot of people are sleeping on Atlanta. And not on the team itself. It's more on their coach, Arthur Smith, who I feel that was confined when he was in Tennessee because that was more of a run-first team. This guy he's trying to spread the ball. He wants to pass it. I mean, like, everybody loves the long ball. And that's what Smith's going to do. We talked about Matt Ryan. He's efficient getting the ball out. One thing about Matt Ryan is, just like Tom Brady, once he gets hurt and frazzled, he starts making bad decisions. He starts taking a little longer. So Jalen was saying before, our defensive line won't be a big factor. Our defensive line needs to be a huge factor because with their offensive line being as weak as it is, we need to take advantage of that. Because that also creates, it helps alleviate the pressure for our cornerbacks, which, as we discussed before, are the best when you really look at it. And especially when you look at that team, Atlanta, you got Calvin Ridley. You got the new kid out there. What is it? Kyle, whatever the hell his name is, Florida.
Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. You still got, Cage over here in Atlanta still doing his thing. And they got some decent wide receivers. They've been shadowed by Julio Jones, and that shadow's gone. He's in Tennessee now. And like I said, Arthur Smith, he's going to open up that offensive playbook, and they're going to go out there killing it.
Yeah, so ultimately what you got?
Score, I don't think we're going to get in the 20s. I'm going to say maybe a 17-10, 17-14. It's going to be a hard battle. It's the first game.
So you're saying rust on both sides? And us sneaking out a 3-point victory or something like that?
Yeah. Like I said, it ain't gonna be back then when we were gonna run against Washington and we had Mike Vick when he was throwing the ball all around and we were up. That ain't gonna happen. This is gonna be a hard fought game.
I hear you. So my take real quick before I just get one more thing from each one before we get up out of here, because we've been live for an hour and 23 minutes. Yeah, look, I agree with Jay Will down here. You got to run the ball. Atlanta is susceptible to the run, even though their secondary is pickable. They got AJ Terrell, who's going to be a second-year man. He got beat up all last year. Deion Jones still is a bolster, and he's always hurt. Like, if you play ATL later in the season, you probably don't got to worry about Deion Jones, but we're going to have to worry about him week 1 where he had the whole offseason. And so, RPOs, he might sniff them out. The quick plays, that middle part of the field is going to be locked down by Deion Jones, who I think is an underrated player. You run the ball and you take your shots down deep, and I think we'll be all right. Atlanta's offense, I think they're better than people say. Kyle Pitts getting locked up by Eric Rowe and stuff. Maybe it's true, but still preseason and preseason. I don't try to judge people off the greatness or the badness, if that's even a word, of their craft. With that being said, Ridley, Pitts, Gage, the fact that Matt Ryan is a vet, their running backs are not that good. So I think if we can if we can make sure we stop the run completely, and that makes Matt Ryan got to use the bubble screens and the quick slants to really try to slow down the pass rush, as Jay Will said. Well, then it still plays to our favor because then you could start, jumping routes as long as you have that cover 2 look and you got safeties over the top. If you have a corner jump the route, knowing that they're using the pass game as their run game, because you can use the pass game to act like a run game by doing all the quick pass bull crap to keep the defensive ends and defensive line at bay. I think we're going to get this dub, and I think that sets the tone for the season. If we don't, well, then I'll have to redirect myself on how I feel about this team. We'll see how it is, the context of the win or loss. But I'm going to come out the Eagles a little rusty, but they put it together, and we go ahead and get a nice 27-20. 27-20. I'm going to give us 27-20.
I don't sound rusty.
Well,
sounds well lubricated. 27 points sounds well lubricated.
No.
Hey, that's with the Raider touchdown on special teams, though. I can dig it.
Listen, I was about to say we're gonna come out week 1 and have the ultimate team game. It's gonna be a 27-20 game, but only we're gonna have a defensive score and a special team score, and so the offense still gonna look rusty. You know what I mean? Hey, yo, remember that game against the Patriots?
We're missing the field goal at some point.
Huh?
We're gonna miss the field goal at some point, right?
We'll miss the extra point.
Extra point. So yeah.
Remember that game against the Patriots where we had the interception for a touchdown, a kick return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, and whatever other we score like every physical way possible. I don't think it's going to be like that, but I think the team comes out. Everybody's saying that we were a 3-win team. Whether you believe it or not, these young guys are going to play inspired football. There'll be some rust on offense, but I think that's where you get the contributions. Maybe a Jalen Reagor punt return for a touchdown, maybe a scoop and score or a pick and score. And so the offense gets out of the rust going into the home opener against San Francisco. And so with the 27 points, you take 14 off 27, the offense ain't really didn't do much. They were stumbling, bumbling, just not fumbling. You know what I mean?
No fumbles is a good thing.
Exactly. And listen, Hurts got to clean that up. We can't deny his fumble-itis of 2020. But hey, listen, I appreciate all y'all for coming out. My wife is probably upset because I told her I'll be done by 8:15.
Here.
She's probably like, you still talking to that big 3? Get off already.
Well, see, that's the cool thing about Eric G. He got his wife out there, so if she's, you know what I mean, she's allowed.
Right?
Hey guys, thanks
Hey.
for coming.
You're an Eagles.
I'm an Eagles fan. Eric's from Philly, but I've lived in North Carolina my whole life. But my father grew up with season tickets back at the old stadium. He's passed it down through the years. I got more jerseys than I do T-shirts. So trust me, I'm right there with you guys.
He raised you right.
Hey, she's a keeper. She's a keeper.
Yeah. Lock it up, fam. Lock it up.
Yep. Done deal.
Today.
Hey, but with that being said, listen, for those in the chat, we still got 151 in the chat. Appreciate y'all for coming through. This is what we call, and we're going to do this more often. It's going to be twice a month throughout the season, twice a month. It's called the channel member live stream. You might see different faces up here because we do have an abundance of channel members, but this was one of these last second things. So I know who the channel members that really pay attention are. But anyways, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I actually put a message out for these guys to come at like 6:50 and it was like 7:10. So it was way last minute, but we're going to do this. StreamYard allows 10 people in. So me and 9 others, maybe we'll have a big one. Maybe we'll have a 3-piece. Pause. With that being said, hey,
let's get the women in on this. Let's get the wives in.
Let's get the wives in there. There we go. We got one day we're gonna do that. You know, I'm gonna have my wife here. Vic will have his wife. We can do the channel members / their wives, and we can have a show. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm trying to do. Because listen, shout out to y'all for joining channel members. I appreciate y'all just to watch the show, let alone support the extra mile. Is greatly appreciated. So my podcast becomes your podcast because you support the channel in a different way. And feel free to check the description. We have different tiers I can't talk. Different tiers. We do fantasy football. So we have fantasy football for the channel members, and Philly Foothills. You just joined. Let me know. We trying to do another league too. We might have 2 or 3 football leagues. Eric G, you weren't in last year's football league. If you want to do it now, the football leagues are still $50 buy-ins, but somebody comes out with like another, a quick $500 to $600. You know what I mean? Something like that. So it's cool.
We televising the draft.
I think we're gonna do art. We're gonna televise ours. We're gonna do it live on my channel.
I'm in like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we could do that.
Y'all gonna see me pick this championship team?
Let me volunteer my husband that he's gonna do it.
There you go. Listen, but the fantasy football is cool. It's $50. Like I said, if you lose $50. But if you win like 500, 600, depending on how many people are in there. Philly Mike's good with the money. I'm not gonna run away. My YouTube channel is too priceless for me. But hey, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the viewers. Shout out to the channel members. And there were some channel members in the chat who didn't want to come in. Hey, shout out to you. Appreciate you guys. If y'all want to say your goodbyes before we get up off here, hour 30 minutes. Start with my guy Vic right here. Just let everybody know where they can find you if they can find you.
Yeah, right. What's good, everybody? As I always say, you know what it is. It's Vic3. You catch me in the chat. You catch me on Twitter. I am the co-host with my man below me on the East Me Sweats podcast. We usually do it every Saturday night, 9 p.m. We'll float around. We're very flexible people. You know what I mean? And if you like the hat that I am sporting today, if someone would be so kind to put the link on the chat, you hit up Philly Fresh, go on his website, the community page, get all the fresh merch. Again, the Philly Fresh got the hoodies. If you see me last night rocking a nice hoodie, get yourself a cap. Christmas is right around the corner. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself something.
We got the whole family here. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sit down.
Go ahead. Say goodbye to the good people that have been watching us all night.
Eric Gallagher. You'll see me in the chats all the time. If you live in North Carolina, hit me up. I know Gate City's out there, but he's further west.
Further west. How far if you had to guess how far you are from Gate?
He's out towards Charlotte, isn't he?
I forgot.
Greenville.
Hey, Jay Will. Oh yeah, Greensburg or something like that.
Greenville, Greensboro. Sorry.
Greensboro.
Greensboro. Oh yeah, that's
It's
4
hours. Hours. We're in Wilmington.
Oh, wow. Dang. So
we're on the coast.
That's cool. Hey, go ahead, Jay Will. Let him know. Hey, Jay Will, you good?
That's all you get. You get a couple of words from him, he's gone.
He's driving.
One thing I will say, everyone understand this team is very young. Results are not instant. They have to maturate. They have to grow. So be patient with these guys. If these guys make mistakes early, understand they're young, new system, everything like that. All you should be looking for out of this season is steady growth. That's it. You get what I'm saying? Because nothing's guaranteed. And if they're actually good, it's a surprise. As opposed to we thinking they're going to win 12 games and they win 5. And it's like, they suck. Just saying.
Great take.
Hey, there you go. I love it. I love it how you trying to keep the fans. Don't get too quickly on edge for a quick loss. Like I said, also, the first 6 games are the hardest games of the season. So you're really not going to know about this team until week 10, week 11. You're really not going to fully understand them because you're playing 2 Super Bowl teams in the first 6. You're playing a division rival who's supposed to be the best one, who's picked to win a division, and then you have the Niners, who if Trey Lance or Jimmy G is good, that's a solid squad around them. There's just a lot in the first 6 games. So 2-4, 3-3. I'm feeling pretty good. What comes next? But go ahead, Foothills. Let them know where they can find you because you're a content creator.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mike. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm glad I got to finally, find out about this private little, this subscription live stream. It was really fun to be on with you guys, definitely. And you guys come check me out. I'm a fairly new Eagles content creator. This is my is going to be like my first full season as like, you know, working with other people and things like that. So I'm really getting further and further into it. But the name of my channel is The Nest Out West. I go by Philly Foothills. My alter ego, the producer of the show, is Philly Fuego. We're always trying to keep it Fuego out here in California. We're holding it down for Eagles Nation way out here in Cali. So yeah, always trying to bring that energy, that Eagles fire. And yeah, definitely, like I said, come check me out. I'm holding it down out here in California. The Nest Out West. Type it in. It's that simple. It's easy to remember. And if you feeling the vibe, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to keep my dreams alive. Let's go, guys. Absolutely.
Fuego. There you go. There you go. There you go. Like I said, shout out to everybody in the chat. We still got over 120 people in here. You know, we ending and they still want to hear it. I appreciate it 100%. Shout out to Jonathan coming through and all that. But go ahead, Texas Eagle. Let him know. Texas Eagle is one of the newest. I mean, I know we got Eagles Talk from Delco. He's new too, but Texas Eagle maybe 2 weeks into the content creating. Let him know.
That's absolutely right, man. So brand new, a couple of weeks in. This will be my first season. I'm really excited. I'm really new at it, but I'm giving it a shot. Going to be bringing the Eagles heat, brother, from way down here in South Texas. Been born and raised in Texas as an Eagles fan. So I'm excited about it. You guys can find me if you'll just search up either Legitimate Eagles Network or just search up Texas Eagle. You can find it. Texas Eagle on all socials. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody, if you want to, just go check out a couple of my videos. See if you're liking what I'm doing. Maybe hit up a sub and follow you guys. And I appreciate you having me on, Mike.
Hey, again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the channel. Like I said, these are channel members, and there's channel members who came through and some channel members who probably, hey, Saturday night, bang, bang, boom, boom, sleep and do whatever they got to do. But listen, if you want to become a channel member, all you can, you doing it on the screen. I ain't at the game. If you want to become a channel member, just check the pinned comment. Also, some of my videos, I will have them. I'm very lazy. Like I tell people to join, I don't even put it to join. Like that's, you know, it is what it is. I'm very lazy when it comes to doing that stuff. I make the videos with confidence, but all the type and stuff, I just be like, yeah. With that being said, if you do want to join channel memberships, we got a $2, $3 one, we got a $5 and a $10. They all offer different things. Like I said, we do fantasy football, we do channel member live streams, and sorry if you joined past today, you're not going to be included in that, but I am doing some types of giveaways for the people who already been joined either Foothills from today, and also you got guys like Jay Will, you got guys like Vic 3 who's been a channel member for a year. So we listen, this channels have gave. I can't talk today, man. I'm tired. I was up late last night, and then I had to wake up early to do the Gardner Minshew video and all that. But with that being said,
I had to work freaking 7 hours.
It was tough doing that video. I know it was. I know it was tough doing that video. As soon as you heard that news, the first person you thought it was me.
Yeah, and
he was like, "God damn it, man!"
Well, that's why I before I even said subscribe, I said there's a lot of Flacco hate. But anyways, with that being said, I've given away 2 jerseys on the channel, and we are going to do giveaways to the general public, but we also got to take care of the channel members because they rock with the channel just a little deeper. I appreciate all you guys. Fantasy football, live streams, all that stuff. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. We
Eagles.
EAGLES.
Beautiful.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.